Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowered Motherhood, the 5 shifts to become a stronger leader within yourself, your family, and in your career in 2021 and beyond. This masterclass is for the modern woman and mother who wants to reclaim her power and become a stronger leader, a more confident leader in her home, in her relationships, and also in her career. This is for the woman who wants to move beyond the dark cloud of worry, of anxiety, of guilt, and of her self-sabotaging tendencies, send her inner mean girl packing, and magnetize to a community of people who just get her, who build her up versus take her down. She wants to find the balance between pursuing a successful career as well as having a passionate marriage and a happy family life. This is for the woman who wants to feel better and wants to feel on purpose. She wants to recognize her value and bring every aspect of her life into alignment with that which she desires most. She wants to be the woman who is confident and clear about where she's going and wants to understand the specific steps she needs to take to get there. She simply wants to be a better version of herself. So if this sounds like you, you're in the right place. And in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to teach you not only those 5 steps, but you'll walk away with insight with regard to how to take back control in your life, stay in control, and how to root and identify your purpose. So specifically, we are going to get down to the bottom of figuring out the source of your uncertainty so that you can come to terms with what you really want out of life and start living for it now without wasting more time and letting the same patterns repeat themselves. We're going to learn how to tune in with your body, how to check in when those anxious thoughts creep in and move them out of the way, preventing you from panic attacks or reactions with the people that you love most. And finally, we are going to learn how to root you into your purpose, to embrace who you really are, so that you can become unapologetically you. We're also going to talk about relationships and how to upgrade your marriage without feeling like you need to go to therapy to fix or change your husband, even if he's not willing to meet you halfway and you feel like you've lost your ability to communicate. We're going to talk about parenting and how to do so without guilt. We're also going to talk about how to be a more present parent so that you can nurture your children's strengths and gifts and help them become kind leaders in their classrooms and out there in the world. I know that's important to me. I can imagine it's important to you too. So my big promise to you today in a very short period of time is to share with you a step-by-step approach, 5 steps that will help you take back control, reclaim your value, and become a stronger, more confident leader in all places and spaces you exist in. So, but first, does this sound like you? Do you feel completely drained by your routines? Are you afraid that you're slipping into an even more of a complacent state than you're already in right now? Are you tired? Are you bored? Are you overwhelmed with the repetition of your days? Are you feeling uninspired? Do you feel like time is passing you by and you're not getting any younger, but slowly you're losing sight of what lights you up, your personal goals and dreams, and the radiant qualities that at one time made you you? Do you lie in bed, awake, contemplating your life, feeling the anxiety creep in, questioning everything, wondering if there might be actually something wrong with you? Do you sleep right next to your husband, yet feel like you're miles apart from him emotionally? Is your anxiety clouding your ability to see your situation clearly and keeping you from making smart, quick decisions on behalf of what's best for all? Do you actually lean on other people to make decisions for you so that way you don't have to? Are you envious of people who seem to actually have it all? Instagram. And do you question whether or not you are worthy of, or you can have it all too, right? The feeling of having it all, the joy, the excitement of embracing and loving everything that you have in the now moment. Do you feel like the therapy you've maybe experimented with has possibly done more damage than good because it's opened a wound, but has not given you key actionable steps to solve your problem for good. And finally, have you worried that there might be something seriously wrong with you and that going to get a diagnosis for something that you do know in your heart is situational, temporary, brought on by change and newness is the right answer for you? Are you secretly terrified that you'll never feel better and that this darkness that you feel that's lingering with you in your day-to-day life experiences will consume you so much so that you may give up on the things that make you truly happy? Let your anxiety win. And do you fear that you have not tried hard enough to get what you want out of life? Are you secretly terrified that you'll never feel better and that this dark cloud of doubt will consume you so much so that you'll grow old with regret that you gave up on your dreams, let your anxiety win, and that you never tried hard enough to do the work to get what you really want out of life? You see, the real problem is that you haven't made the shifts. And I'm going to talk to you about those shifts today. And I'm so excited because this is the single most effective way to move into real and true healing for this dark cloud of all of these emotions you're feeling that are simply undesirable and really causing you to become a less confident version of yourself in the lifestyle you're living now. So once you make these shifts, you will feel like the strongest, most decisive woman you know. And the phrases, "I don't know," or "let me ask my husband first," will not really be part of your vocabulary anymore when you're confident and free and supported in your decision-making process. Once you make these shifts, you'll also feel like you won't have to fit in anymore because your confidence in self and your newfound magneticism will attract the right people into your life who value you, and you will naturally let go of those people that are not a fit for your present life circumstances. Once you make these shifts, you'll also wake up energized and full of faith that the universe has your back, and you'll finally start to feel that flow, that moment of synchronicity that you desperately crave, like meeting the right person at the right time or having an opportunity show up that you've always wanted out of nowhere. Once you make these shifts, you'll finally feel free in your body because maybe for the first time ever, it will start to work for you rather than against you. And once you make these shifts, you will finally be able to problem solve on your own and show up more powerfully in your marriage, like the leader you really are, without needing the help of a therapist, because you'll know exactly how to self correct and come back together quickly. You'll be able to tap into your intuition and guidance and receive the inspiration you've been praying for, perhaps in the form of an idea that will support your life in a positive way, or possibly in the form of an idea for a side business that gives you your time back and also makes a difference in the world. Who am I? My name is Ciara Burton, and I am a working mom of two boys, and I'm married to my life partner. We've been together for, gosh, maybe 15 years now. I am a life and leadership coach. Sometimes I don't know the specific title to call myself, but I solve the problem of anxiety and uncertainty in the soulful woman who wants to reclaim her power and feel better. I usher the modern mother, the awakening woman, toward freedom, self awareness, and inner peace and joy. That is my life mission, to teach the tools to help you awaken to your potential and move beyond all that's getting in the way, the anxiety, the darkness, the overwhelm, the worry. Remove that out of the way to get you into the driver's seat of your life again. And that's when life feels really good. So as you can read here, I've been coaching for 11 years now, and I've worked with over 500 clients and trained with leading experts around the world. I feel so thankful for my mentors and the support team that has gotten me to this point where I can lead others in this way. It is now a privilege for me to work exclusively with the modern mother in this way to help her cultivate more peace and clarity from within. This is important to me because my aim is to really help you, the modern mother, raise your children in a way where they can tap into their potential and actualize their desires and experience their gifts from within out there in the world. So, my purpose exists here, helping you become the leader that you know you can be in your home so that your kids can become the people that they're meant to be in the world. They need a leader just like you to tap in to their unique soul qualities that make them them. I discovered these 5 shifts when I was going through a transitional time in my life. I had just given birth to my firstborn and had a dark night of the soul experience, and it was overwhelming. I had to go back to the beginning to practice that which I was already preaching and become a student of my own work once again, and to relearn these tools that I at one point knew and taught, but needed to relearn and teach myself again once becoming a mother. They showed up much differently after I became a mother. I not only gave birth to a human, but I also gave birth to a new iteration of me when I became a mother. So I can't wait to tell you more about those shifts. So these 5 key shifts are the shifts you must make to take control of your life and reclaim your value. They will make you a stronger, more confident leader. This is the path to become her, as I describe, the woman who is the embodied leader in her home. You can have fun doing this work too. I promise you that. We can do hard things and still have fun in the process. So let's dive right into shift number 1. Shift number 1, get back to basics to crowd out your anxiety. Yes, we have to address those lingering, undesirable feelings that are living within you first, because they are keeping you from the soulful essence of who you are, the real you. Let's talk more about that. So here's what everyone else is doing. Many experts are overcomplicating the healing process when what we really need to do is just go back to basics and heal from the inside out, not the outside in. So, traditionally, when anxiety comes on, we are told to go talk to someone. And at the early stages, we're left wondering, but who do I talk to? Is this going to be the right therapist? Is that going to be the right therapist? Is this approach that my friend used the right one? Or should I try that approach? And oftentimes, this gets really expensive, and people are not getting the results that they're looking for, which is to be free of these feelings they don't want to feel anymore. Traditionally, people will see a therapist and will end up rehearsing stories from the past, which can be valuable, but in my experience, not as valuable as it could be when there's no game plan for a future way of being in mind. Traditionally, when anxiety comes on, we'll go to a doctor, get labeled, take a pill, perhaps numb out of the present moment experience because it's just too hard, and hope that one day, after a little bit of time, our problems will just be gone. But as many of you have probably experienced, that doesn't really happen. Eventually, we are all called to do the work. So here's why this approach doesn't work. All of these recommendations only serve as a band-aid, providing you with temporary relief. When these situations don't work or only temporarily work, your patterns repeat themselves, sending you back into the self sabotage, the overwhelm, and the constant contemplation that there might be something seriously wrong with me. You see, the real problem is that solutions like these aren't actually solving the root of the problem. In fact, they may be making things even worse or more exaggerated. There is a better way, and this is the way that I teach. To solve your problem, you must learn how to crowd out, how to push out and replace your feelings of overwhelm, indecision, uncertainty, self doubt, dissatisfaction, guilt, and anger. These are the feelings that are feeding anxiety. You see, every time you think a thought, it grows in power. And it either holds you hostage by keeping you small and in a darker state of mind, or it helps you grow to your fullest potential and helps you actualize the desires in your heart. To take back control, you must go back to basics to reconnect to your body and train your brain to think differently. When you stop feeding your anxiety through your constant unproductive thought process about it, you will set yourself free from dis-ease, lack of ease, even if you're experiencing a chemical hormonal imbalance that makes you feel hopeless and stuck. I've helped so many people get off their medication in this process of training their brain to think differently. What you think about grows in power. Are you watering the weeds or the seeds that will eventually turn into flowers in the garden of your mind? Think about that for a moment. So, to sum it up, once you make the shift of going back to basics, your strong mindset will be your best asset. It will command new behaviors that will generate different results in your life. With this upgrade in the way that you think, you will be able to stop the negative thought patterns before they even start and before they turn into regretful reactions with the people that you love most. But most importantly, once you make this shift, you will have access to the real you that you are, the you that you are underneath the dark cloud of anxiety, self doubt, and the confusion of constantly questioning yourself. Yes, she, with a capital S, is the woman who sits confidently in the driver's seat of her life, not in the back seat. So take a moment to ask yourself, what seat am I occupying in the vehicle that is my life? Am I living in the back seat, living as a victim of my circumstances, or am I called to move up to the front seat and be a leader in my life and heal my body and my relationships for good? I want to tell you about one of my clients in her own words. This is from a woman named Catherine. She said in this experience, this shift of going back to basics, she was able to find her voice and shift her focus. She said, I went from feeling like a victim to playing a leading role in my life. With life being so busy, being a working mom, I finally accepted I was lying to myself when I thought I would schedule time to work through my problems on my own. I used to have doubts in so many areas of my life, but the rut of my life is no longer. I have tools I need to face challenges as they come up and a perspective that allows me to love who I am. Working with Catherine was such an enjoyable experience. Since she shared this quote, she's had another baby and has continued to thrive in her marriage with her husband, which at the beginning of our experience was really in a difficult spot. Shift number 2. This is one of my favorite ones, and I call it do less and be more. Live your life on purpose. You see, here's what everyone else is doing. Most people go to therapy or see a coach looking for a list of things to do to feel better, to improve their relationships or gain clarity on a situation they're feeling stuck. I mean, I have a whole slew of personal development books, and I really do love reading book after book. You see, but our brains are hardwired to want the next plan. So we're always going to want a diet plan, a career advancement plan, a parenting plan, a communication plan. I don't know if you're like me, but when I was in an uncertain time in my life, raising the 2 kids who weren't sleeping very well at night, I was constantly Googling, looking for the 4-month-old sleep training plan, on different websites that would give me the free plan to help my kids work through their sleeping issues. But the question is, are those plans really working for you? And how many more things to do can you add to your already full plate? Really reflect on that. And I'm reflecting on the sleep training plans, and it was always very difficult to actualize those and follow them to a T. I'm remembering that time right now. How many things to do can you add to your already full plate? Here's why plans don't work. You see, the answers you're seeking don't exist in a plan. When you're at overcapacity, your brain is full, and you have so much to do, doing more will only send you into more overdrive and overwhelm. Even if, which I know most of you are on this call, even if you're organized AF and have everything scheduled in. This will further reduce your belief in yourself and your abilities to be a strong woman who's confident and in control of her life. You see, the problem I see often is when we're not living on purpose as women, we feel unfulfilled. I meet so many women who are struggling to figure out what their purpose is. And because of this, they've unconsciously tied their purpose to how much they get done in a day. They've tied their purpose to their to-do list. You see, when things get done, they feel good. And when they don't, they feel bad. Can you relate to this? How do you feel when you start off the day with a whole list of things to do and you end the day not having done any of them? I know I can relate to that experience when I used to write a lot of to-do lists. Never really felt good. Okay, so take note on this one. When you link your purpose to how much you get done in a day, the struggle to live a deep, meaningful, and purpose-driven life you crave is real, right? When you link your purpose to how much you get done in a day, especially if you're a busy mom and you don't get anything done in the day, according to you, the struggle is real. The internal struggle I'm speaking of. Happiness and fulfillment are feelings that don't exist in the hustle and grind of doing all the things for everyone. Reflect on that for a moment. Happiness and fulfillment are feelings that don't exist in the hustle and grind of doing. Here's why learning how to be matters. When we're wrapped up in busy and always in a hurry, we lose our ability to discern the best course of action for ourselves because our focus is lost in the external world. Discernment, I use that word very thoughtfully, is the ability to go within to receive insights, to receive insight from the inner self versus the outer world. And the outer world is comprised of rigid standards, other people's opinions and beliefs, social pressures. Perhaps you are thinking about your parents' voices and their expectations of you. It's the ability to judge well and make choices concerning the best course of action for ourselves and the goodness of others. Discernment is so powerful. Once you have discernment dialed in and you're able to go within for the answers, you will be able to make decisions powerfully and with conviction. So to sum it up, following a diet plan, reading endless amounts of personal development books, and making it your mission to tackle the mile-long to-do list every day takes you further away from yourself, resulting in a loss of power to your external influences that grab at your attention 24/7 and rob you of energy, leaving you with nothing left at the end of the day for you. When you learn how to take back your power through being, you'll experience true fulfillment and real love in your relationships, career, and in other life categories too. This will incrementally improve your level of life satisfaction and happiness and will help you crowd out those feelings of complacency that you find yourself feeling often. In this new expanded state of being, you'll have the ability to shift the energy in your home and reignite the passion in your marriage and deepen your bond with your children, right? Being more equals being more present. You'll have the ability to attract the right people into your life at the right time, making your friendships more meaningful and fun. This is something that I value so much, being a part of a tribe of like-minded women who have similar beliefs, but also different beliefs too, and our willingness to love, support, and hold space for one another through it all is so heartwarming and meaningful to me in my present life experience. I want to teach you how to create that in your life too. You'll also have the ability to make decisions for yourself more easily. Like I said, when you know how to go within for the answers, you can let go of the roles you think you need to play and start living for the you that you really are, the you that you want to become. Once you learn how to be more, you can also turn a passion project into a business more easily and let it make money for you and a difference while giving you time, freedom, and flexibility to live life on your own terms. Yes, you can have all of this simply through practicing being. And let me tell you about a client who experienced something like this. This is Nicole, and what Nicole has to say is when she first learned about the concept of being, it really threw me off, and I'll attest to that. It took us a couple years to really lock in on this. I was all like, yeah, I have a busy job I love, but I'm not about to quit and meditate all day. Now I understand that being is about knowing yourself and being yourself. Most of us have been too damn distracted to even know ourselves. Now that I do, I cannot tell you how much stress, time, and anxiety this shift has saved me. Nicole was the ultimate hustler. If you know her, she has just accomplished so much in her life. And when she experienced the sweetness of being more and doing less, she was actually able to create more results in less time and got to experience the feelings of joy and fulfillment in her everyday life experiences. She knows how to sink into those moments and feel the real raw feelings that are available to her now, which she wasn't feeling before because she was numbing out through all the doing. Shift number 3. This is the most profound shift in the 5 shifts that I'll be sharing with you today. It's called the think, feel, and act approach, and therefore I'm calling it the secret weapon. So, what everyone else is doing is actually the opposite. Most people walk into a situation and they feel it out first. They act without thinking based on how they feel, and then they think about how they reacted later. I want you to see how this shows up for you. So, let's just say, as a mom, you walk into a room your children are playing in, and maybe a green smoothie knocked all over the white carpet. Imagine the reaction, right? And the experience of you reflecting on your reaction later as a pretty hard thing to look back on those moments where you've yelled at your children over an accident, right? But sometimes it feels like we can't control it, but I want to show you that you can. So here's why feel, act, and think doesn't work. This approach is an entirely unconscious and feelings driven. When you live your life feeling your way through it, your life ends up being the sum of your reactions according to those feelings and not your responses. For example, if you're feeling bad, you might unintentionally yell at your kids, like I just described. You may give your husband the cold shoulder if he walks in from work with a stressed out energy. You might naturally just give him the cold shoulder. That's a reaction. You might be passive aggressive in your own work with your clients or with the people you interact with. You may drive too fast and take your emotions out on the red lights. My mom used to do this growing up. Or perhaps you may even eat too much. This showed up for me when I was feeling my way through life. I would often turn to food to stuff the big emotions and the feelings that I was feeling. Here's why this approach doesn't work. When your feelings drive your actions, the results you generate will feel flippant, out of control, and out of alignment, causing your soul to feel in conflict. So let's use emotional eating, for example. When my feelings of stuckness and overwhelm drive my action, which might mean eating a bag of chips in one sitting, the result I generate in that experience feels out of control for me, spontaneous, and therefore I'm left feeling majorly in conflict because the truth is, as a nutrition expert, I should know better. I lived my life like this for many years. When our soul feels conflicted, many of us turn to self sabotaging, numbing tendencies like overeating, over drinking, over watching, Netflixing, over exercising to cope with these feelings that we don't want to feel anymore. Embarrassment, shame, overthinking the reactions that we have that we regret. Our self sabotaging tendencies are bad habits that do band aid our pain temporarily, right? But they only add to the problem and oftentimes make it worse, right? Me emotionally eating did make me feel better, but it really only added to other problems I was dealing with and made them worse, made me feel even less than, less confident, less attractive with each bag of chips I would eat in one sitting. So let me tell you about this secret weapon. So now I teach the opposite approach from the feel, act and then think about it later approach. I teach the think, feel, and act approach, and it is the single most effective game changing, results oriented method, and science does prove it. I'm going to get into a little bit of that today just to show you. This is a method that, if employed regularly, will get you out of survival mode and into thrival mode. It will help you manifest a higher, greater vision for your life if you employ it regularly. It truly is the opposite of what we're being taught right now. I want you to think of your experiences in going to therapy. How often are you diving into your feelings? Most therapists will take you there first. I do the opposite. I take you to your thoughts. Let's see how powerful this is. Let's look into the science here. So here's the science. When we learn how to separate our circumstances, which are facts, from our thoughts, this alone is incredibly powerful. Our circumstances are everything happening in the outer world, stripped free from any judgment or opinion. Circumstances are what you cannot change in a present moment. You can change them in a future moment, but not a present moment. Your thoughts, though, you can control and you can change. Your thoughts are your opinion or judgment of whether something is good, bad, right, or wrong. Your thoughts, though, are not facts. They are largely based on your past conditioning, like your upbringing, for example. So let me give you an example here. If your mom used to be very overly critical of herself, perhaps you now find yourself being overcritically of yourself. And perhaps you think now, as a mom, gosh, I see my mom in me now. Let me know if you can relate to that. I know I can in some aspects. It still does show up for me at times. Circumstances are outside of our control, but thoughts are within our control. This is where your power lies, my friend, in the fact that you can change the way that you're thinking. So first we think, and we think in alignment with how we want to experience a situation. Second, we feel according to how we want to feel about this particular situation, which means we must learn how to master our emotions. Once you master your emotions, you can stop strong feelings like anger, for example, which may lead to an emotional outburst, and move yourself into a state of neutrality. A state of neutrality is what I teach in my programs. A state of neutrality is a state of being where you are simply not triggered at all. You are neutral. Yes, you can do this in just a moment of mindfulness. You can move out of anger and get yourself into a state of neutrality. It takes time to master, but the rewards of having mastered it mean you can be in more control of your life and in control of your reactions. And I promise you, it will be well worth it. And finally, the third step here, which I don't want to overlook, is act. Or should I say, don't act at all. It's all based on the first two processes of thinking first and feeling second. And what you might find is that you are called to not act at all. I teach the power of a pause, and it can be profound when we bring mindfulness to situations where we aren't currently practicing it. So think, feel, and act is a tool that you do have to learn. It doesn't take much time, but just like with anything new, you have to get your reps in. You have to build strength here to have it work for you. Think, feel, and act is the single most effective method to heal and shift your unconscious, right? Your programmed belief systems so that you can live as a higher expression of yourself, a woman who is thriving and in control of her life. I want to share just a brief quote from a client of mine from a long time ago named Monica. I found a stronger voice and I feel empowered and in control. I'm loving the flow of my life. I know my limits now. Plus, being more present at home with my husband and kids is certainly more fun. This is a woman I'm describing who has moved out of her reactionary state. She is in control and sits in the driver's seat of her life. I'm so proud of her. Shift number 4, we're almost to the end, guys. Hang in there with me. Let go of the routine and find feminine flow. Yes, I'm telling you to let go of the routine, that thing you probably took a lot of time building up. Let go of the routine so that you can find feminine, creative flow. Let's talk more about that. Here's what everyone else is doing. Many experts say get into a better routine, right? Circumstances are new, get into a better routine, and then communication, time management, and all other family matters will just flow more easily once you're more organized. So, oftentimes people plan date nights or even schedule sex, gym time, or self care activities like getting your nails done or a massage. You might even organize your vacation calendar 6 months to a year in advance just to have something to look forward to because your present day life experiences feel pretty hard. You might even structure out a budget and force yourself to stick to it. Be detailed, be consistent, stick to the plan is what most of my clients think about or have thought about before coming into the program. They know that if you do this, you will be successful. I want you to consider that's the old way, and here's why that's BS. Yes, I'm calling BS on that. The truth is, if you're here on this webinar, you're probably a lot like me. And the truth is, how much more organized can you get? I can imagine that you're a pretty organized person, and yes, there's opportunity to be more organized, but please take a moment to acknowledge how organized you already are. When the list of things to do gets longer, the mess will continue to pile up in your home, and communication will feel more messy with your spouse. It may seem that more organization and routine could be the answer, but I promise you it's not. We're constantly under pressure as mothers, as women in this world, to achieve more, and our overly structured environments could actually be the problem. They keep us from our natural creative expression as feminine women, causing us to feel suppressed, empty, and unfulfilled, and as if something's missing. We as women in society today are losing ourselves in the rigidity of the masculine structure of routine. This has become a major problem in the emotional well being of women and mothers, but especially the working ones. Collectively, women everywhere are feeling tired and lost and far from creative. In recent decades, as more and more women have pursued careers, we've had to fit ourselves into previously established uber masculine workplaces. And as a consequence, we've lost our ability to express ourselves in the feminine. And I'm going to tell you more about what that means. We've actually suppressed the feminine in order to fit in. And the masculine qualities within many of us have taken over. Some of those masculine qualities include rigidly structured routines, overscheduling, being very rational. Most women do not know that they're lacking balance in the masculine versus feminine qualities. But when they think about it, they realize that they're operating more in the masculine. So think for yourself, am I operating more in the feminine or in the masculine? When they come to me, they simply say, I just feel stuck. And if that's you, if you just feel stuck, that's okay. I've got you. Let's keep going. Women today are starved for creative expression, and they feel lost and uncertain about how to discover the soul satisfying feelings that come with embracing the feminine. Let's talk more about what the feminine is. So, very briefly, because I could talk about this all day, looking at this diagram, you'll see that the left side of our brain is consistent, detailed, information based, controlled, planned, structured, analytic, logical, and rational. You may relate more to that. But our right brain is spontaneous, open ended. It's emotional, it's connected, it's intuitive, it's random, spontaneous, holistic, and more of the feeling part of our brain. Many times we've really suppressed the right side of our brain in order to lean into the left side of our brain, and we've simply become imbalanced here. So much of what I teach is the experience of getting back into the feminine and feeling the soul satisfying feelings that exist there. So, what is a feminine leader? I simply want you to look at this picture. What you will see is not only beauty, but you will see power and true fulfillment, joy, strength, grace, ease. These are feelings that I feel when I'm looking at these images now. These women right here are feminine leaders. A feminine leader freely taps into her nurturing, creative, empathetic, and intuitive qualities, and she makes a visible, meaningful, and necessary impact. So, to sum it up, The power of our intuition is so profound. In order to move through anxiety and self doubt and to grow in our confidence and clarity about where we're heading in life, we must tune up the voice from within, the intuition, and let it start guiding us. You will get there by leaning into the feminine. When the feminine is working in harmony with the masculine, which is the ultimate goal, you will come alive and feel more freedom to express yourself. It's a feeling of living in the world with a clear knowing of who you are. When you find this balance, you have the ability to take control over your emotions and how you want to feel in your everyday life. That's when life gets really good, when you live in alignment with your desires. I want to tell you about another client named Aubrey. She has a beautiful photography business and she takes a lot of my pictures. She was a new mother navigating shockingly all-consuming love for her new baby, an evolving marriage, and a growing business. At a vulnerable time in my life, I was feeling isolated and overwhelmed by my new normal. Today, I feel a sense of freedom I've been searching for my whole life. I feel more authentically me than I've ever been. I've become a fierce, passionate woman who trusts herself. Yes, she definitely has. I can attest to that. Shift number 5, this is the last shift. You must invest in a mentor to make all the shifts above. Here's why. You need new brain programming that works. The conventional approaches simply are not working, as I've expressed here. The traditional ways are not working. All the while, more and more women and mothers are struggling to find real solutions for the problems they're experiencing. And as a consequence, they're losing themselves in the process of striving to follow through on their all too many commitments that are simply not really even aligned with them. And because it's impossible for you to figure this all out on your own, you really do deserve to have some help. You are not meant to do life alone. Hiring a mentor is not only about hiring someone good, it's about hiring the right person who can actually solve your problem. You see, most people don't go out and interview therapists being clear about the problem that they're dealing with. First, we get clear, and second, we ask and we find a therapist or a coach who can solve our problem. So it's about finding somebody who can solve your problem. Having a coach and a mentor is the most direct route to where you are and where you want to be. No one who achieves great results do it alone. The best athletes, executives, and creatives on the planet all have coaches. If you continue down this path of trying to self-solve without getting the results you're ready to have now, how will you feel 1 year from now? Take a moment to reflect on that. If you continue to self-solve, you continue with, quote, more of the same, how will you feel 1 year from now? So today I promised in this 45-minute experience that you will learn how to take back control, stay in control, and root into your purpose and the values and benefits that come along with knowing how to do all of those. We talked about how to figure out the source of your uncertainty so that you can come to terms with what you really want out of life so that you can start living for it now without wasting more time letting the patterns repeat themselves. We talked about the power of connecting to your body when your anxious thoughts creep in and how you can prevent reactions with people you love most through the think, feel, and act method. We also talked about how important it is to embrace who you are and become unapologetically you so that you can feel the true fulfillment and joy that you want to feel in your life and move beyond surface level experiences like being afraid of the judgment of others. That feeling is strong. We also talked about how to upgrade relationships and that real change starts with you and that you don't need to go to therapy to fix or change your husband. It's not about that. So even if he's not willing to meet you halfway, we can still solve this problem of a marriage that's failing. We also talked about parenting without guilt and how stopping or learning how to stop constantly questioning yourself and learning how to make powerful decisions for yourself and your family confidently without feeling wiped and overwhelmed will help you deal with everyone in your household's unpredictable emotions. So today I shared with you a step-by-step strategy to take back control of your life and become her, the highest expression of you, and let her lead in your life. Step into the driver's seat and be the woman who's confident and in control at home and beyond. So here's what you need to win. You need to learn how to go back to basics, how to learn how to trust yourself again, and move beyond the feelings of anxiety, uncertainty, and even situational depression. You need to learn how to do less and be more in your life. Also, learning how to think, feel, and act will help fast track you to manifesting the goals and desires that you have for yourself. It will limit reactions with the people you love most and stop the feeling of regret and shame after you have an experience that you're not proud of. We also talked about letting go of the routine, and you definitely need that to win. Allowing for creative expression and feminine flow really is a key to self healing. And finally, the importance of hiring a mentor and how you're not meant to do this life alone. You are worthy of getting off the struggle bus, and I really want to see you thrive. Hiring a mentor is necessary. So please take note, these 5 shifts alone are enough to shift you out of anxiety, self-doubt, and all those undesirable feelings and into a life of possibility where you are armed with the tools to self-solve and live with vitality and confidence. When you put these 5 shifts into action, you will quickly and easily move in to clarity, power, and confidence and become more aligned to the bold, magnetic, unapologetic, creative, soulful, purposeful woman that you really are when we move beyond these feelings that are keeping you stuck. So now you have a choice. You can continue with more of the same and go back to the way things were and let your life be anchored in your to-dos, your reactions, your tiredness, your frustrations about feeling mediocre, or your fear of your untapped potential, or perhaps your confusion of overwhelm, right? How many times do you say, I'm confused, I just don't know what to do, or I'm so overwhelmed, right? You can continue to rehearse more of those stories, or you can change the tape today. Change the tape, change the autopilot reaction, and choose for your life to be anchored in purpose, intentionality, passion, love, connection, vitality, alignment, and soul. You can become her, as I would describe with a capital H, the you that you've always been meant to become. Here's how I can help. I've set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how to apply these shifts in your life immediately. Whatever your biggest challenges are, I can guarantee you I've seen it. I've worked with over 500 clients, and I'm here to show you how to overcome these challenges. Believe it or not, even with working with that many people, we are all the same. We struggle with similar experiences inside all of us, even if we look different and have different life circumstances. So, in our breakthrough session, we will not only dial in your specific problem and put language to it, but you will leave the call with an easy to digest formula that will break you out of uncertainty and help you move into that feeling of confidence. This step-by-step plan is your process to become her, with a capital H, a bold, confident, and free woman who is anchored in purpose. The cost of this phone call is absolutely free. This is for the soulful woman who wants to free herself of these feelings she's been having. She's been constantly longing to fix herself, and this is her opportunity to move beyond these feelings now. This is for the woman who wants to unite with a community of people who are pursuing greatness just like her. This is for the woman who wants to fix her marriage by fixing herself. As you've seen today, that letting go of the idea that endless years of marriage counseling will give you the answers and the connectedness you're craving is very unlikely. It really is about focusing on you to make your marriage better. Work with what you can control. You are what you can control. This breakthrough call is for the woman who wants to connect to her intuition more so that she can discern her next steps and move into them confidently without feeling like she needs a lifeline to call when things get hard, and without feeling the mom guilt and indecision kicking in those moments when she feels insecure. This is for the woman who wants to prioritize herself and her soul's path now. Because as she comes into alignment with her desires, everything else in her life will shift as she changes for the better. If that's you, book a session now by clicking the button below. I want to connect with you, and I'm so eager and excited to take you through an experience unlike one you've had before. You can book at ciaraburton.com. That's CIARABURTON.com/apply. And at our scheduled time, you will dial into a conference line and we will connect for our hour-long experience. All of this is complimentary, and this will be the best hour you've ever spent working on yourself. I promise you that. And in this free experience, you will walk away with language to the problem that you're solving. Like I said, we are pulling the problem out at its root. So I will sum up the issues you're experiencing with you in a theme, using my intuition and being with you very thoughtfully on the call, and we will get down to the root of what's keeping you stuck. This alone is profound and well worth your time. I can't wait to connect with you. Please click on the button below this video and I will look forward to our connection. You will be sent to my calendar to choose a time and a brief survey. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the 5 steps to freedom and sovereignty as a empowered woman, and I cannot wait to connect with you live again. Thanks for being here.